Lest I forget, I just wanted to let you all know that I changed my channel name from Wandia Josephine, which is my name, to a different kind of ordinary, which is what I've been going with, the openers for my channel for a very, very long time. And I kept on saying that I'm working on waiting until I'm able to monetize and then be able to develop the channel, to have an opener, to have a standard tune for my channel and everything. But I've thought, why should I wait? I mean, time waits for no man, or woman for that matter. So yes, I've changed my channel name to a different kind of ordinary, which is what my channel is all about. It's about my different kind of ordinary life. So when you're doing your search, that's what you should be searching for. And also my channel name, which you're going to see at the top, at this top corner of the video all the time, has changed from @Wandia Josephine to this Wandia _KE. So that's the, I thought it's so difficult because even I myself, when I'm sometimes watching on a new phone or something, and or on TV, if I've not been watching my own channel for a long while and I have to search it, I realized it's so difficult for somebody to start searching at and then put my whole first name, which is not very short, Wandia, and then my baptism name, which is Josephine, which is quite a mouthful. It's a beautiful name, but it's quite a mouthful. And so I'm watching other people and I'm seeing what's trending and I'm seeing what's simple. And so I thought something simpler would be better. And so I've just put this Wandia _KE. That is easier to search. So if you put this Wandia, it's there are very many Wandias. Wandia is a very common name in Kenya, and it's shared by the Kamba, the Kikuyu, Aembu, and also Ameru, and people of Kirinyaga also. Yes, I must not forget. So it's shared among 5 tribes. So it's a common name, and there are a lot of YouTubers, Kenyan YouTubers, and others also who are in the diaspora but with Kenyan connections and heritage who use the name. So this is easier. And because I'm in Kenya, we have Wandias who are based out of the country in the diaspora. I thought this would be easier. So that is just a note to let you know that this has changed. And then it's easier if somebody is asking you what my channel is, rather than say my full name. Sometimes you might not remember it. It's easy for us Kenyans. It's a simple name to know. But if you are out there in the world, it's so difficult to remember that name. I know it's sometimes I also find it difficult to remember names of channels of people who are using their own names. But when you use something that is about the channel, then it's easier to remember. And so a different kind of ordinary is what my channel is about. And so that's what I've put as my channel name. Tell me what your views are. Is the change okay? Do you like it? For those of you who saw when I used to put theme songs before, which I'm going to start doing again, I put some spice into it. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your views are. Have I made it easier for you to search for me, to look for me, to get me? Or do you feel that what you liked was better in the beginning? I'm still going to keep it, but I'd still like to listen to your opinion. So thank you, and again, welcome. Please like and subscribe to the channel in order to support it. Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you very much for those of you who've been watching. A very big thank you for getting me to 5,000, about 700 views. I appreciate it. I especially appreciate it now because I've been away for almost a whole week without vlogging. But you've been loyal enough to keep watching my videos, increasing the viewership. I appreciate it. I'd been unable to make videos because for those of you who are new here, I lost my dog. Or by the way, if you're new, my name is Josephine and I live in Kenya. I'm a retiree and trying my best to do the best that I can just to cope up with survival as a hustler. In Kenya we call it hustling if you're doing anything except being in formal employment. And so I can call myself a hustler. I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent, and I love community work. I'm a Christian, and I've come into vlogging, into content creation, one, to try and earn some extra income, and also to enjoy me in my life journey as a single woman getting into her 60s and how life is. And even before, I think I started getting serious when I was in my late 50s. But I like to walk my journey with you. I don't mind making it public, a lot of my life public, not all of it of course, but a lot of it, and sharing it with you. I'd like to first recognize, as always, I have a special affinity to a village called the YouTube village in a place called Kisii in Western Kenya. And so there's been happenings that are going on there. It's called Nyabohanse. And so I'd like to say congratulations to Priska Mayani on the birth of her son. And I'm praying for him to be healthy and grow wise and well, and that the family may find joy. She's a young widow who lost her husband to a very unfortunate incident very recently. On the international scene, I'm very saddened by the recent demise of this young lady, Ashley Robinson, or Ashley Jenny, who was murdered by her fiance. And I can very confidently say murdered because the circumstances leading to it completely show that this was premeditated. And I know it's very unfair for me to be judgmental before the investigation is out, but there's been a lot of sloppiness by the Tanzanian government. I'm totally horrified that a young woman could have an altercation with a man who is twice her size and age. And the altercation could have been going on for such a long period while they were in the same facility. And then on the night that there was a fight, until the person in the room next to them complained that the hotel did not deem it fit to not only involve their security personnel and log the incident, but they also did not follow up and call in the police to make a mini investigation. Sometimes this is possible with hotels, and this can be done silently and very covertly, so that the privacy and the the well-being of both are taken care of, but they see the seriousness which involves in any way harming or threatening the life of another within the premises. And I think this would have been stemmed, but I leave the case to rest. A lot of people are on it. Sincerest condolences to the family and friends who must be going through so much. And this is just a wake-up call to young girls, and especially in Africa and other developing countries, who look up to people, not just because of color. I can't really say it's about color, but you know, when you're fooled so much, so easily by the pretense of showbiz, of men who pretend to have money but they do not. This was a person who was undergoing a very serious loss of financial loss, severe financial loss, and it was evident that the lifestyle he had led and the speed with which he gained this money, there might be a lot of unscrupulous deals that might have been involved with it, and his past history of having left a wife who was recently with child, who had recently delivered and whose mother was undergoing cancer, already showed that this was a person not to be trusted at all. But we give birth to children and we pray all the time for their safety, and so it's very unfortunate when such incidences happen, and it's very regrettable that in my opinion the government concerned, the police officers and the investigation bureau in Tanzania doesn't seem to have been doing much, and I'm glad that the family is able to get a second opinion on everything. And I'm just wishing them comfort at this trying time. On the local scene, we have a lot of political shenanigans going on, which is very usual. The oil shortage is just part of the political gimmicks that are played upon people. I don't think it's anything by chance that this is happening. I know there are a lot of people in the powers that be that know exactly what's happening, but again, it's Kenyans to suffer. And I'm just hoping that it's not going to jeopardize in any way very critical services to the citizens. Medicare, because I know hospitals that are up country use generators. I know even the power lines, sometimes the transmission of power at certain points might need generators to operate, and fuel in many instances is very crucial for development purposes and also for critical service delivery. So I'm hoping that this is going to soon pass over and then go away. Concerning gender-based violence, apart from this femicide incident that happened in Tanzania, again in Nyabohanse we are seeing continued gender-based violence, but it's not just in Nyabohanse. Across the country, this is very regrettable that femicide again has reared its ugly head, and we are hearing of reports. But even while this is happening, and which we decry so much, and it's very regrettable, I'd like to say also in the same vein that something has got me worried so much. While I'm online on social platforms, I've noticed that a lot of young women, and this is especially on TikTok. Is it on TikTok only? Yes, especially on TikTok, are very brazenly coming out and calling out to people, to other women, I presume, and young girls, and claiming that it's very easy to hook you up with talking to foreigners, and especially Muzungus. Muzungus are white men in colloquial, well, not in Swahili, not really colloquial. It's not really in colloquial, it's not Sheng, and there's nothing colloquial about it. Muzungu is a terminology for white men. And I can equate this to the scams that are going on for cryptocurrency dealing, which is what Ashley's fiance, Joe, who I completely find guilty of this, of her demise. This call for by young girls very brazenly on TikTok, very fearlessly, calling upon others to get into the business, because they're calling it a business. You know, some claim I bought a car through this, I bought my house through this, I'm making so many dollars, so many shillings per day through this. It's so dangerous. And I'd like to compare it. It's akin to me, it's akin to the fake business, well, not fake businesses, but fake money dealing opportunities that are also being advertised. We have the forex trading, and some of these children are not aware that it is, the forex trading is a lot very much tied to cryptocurrency dealership, and this is just similar to the pyramid schemes that had gripped the world at one point in time, and still does grip parts of the world, but it comes guised in very many different forms, so that people who are not either are not very savvy about international scams will be very slow to know what's happening. And so a lot of people are falling into these scams, that you can come into forex dealing, and then within every day you can make so much, or you can chat with a white man and then you can make so much money. This is not the same as dating. This is absolutely different, and the implications behind this are so serious, because what is not told up front is that what is required, what will very quickly be required out of some of these chats is exchange of nude pictures, and much more. And sometimes it goes to extreme lengths, of course, where we have casualties in many different forms. And so my call is to all people, and especially to us women and parents generally, but more so us women, because we are more in contact with our daughters and younger sisters and young women who are around us. Talk to them, and when you feel that somebody is involved in some of these things, caution them very, very severely. I remember that at one point I saw a girl who came on to, it was still TikTok, I think, and she said that her friend had told her how he had met a man, how she had met a man, and again I think it was just through either a dating forum or some of these chatting sites, and the person was proposing to do for her anything she wanted in this country for a few months, and that in exchange of that she would travel to his country and she would agree to have her limbs cut off, that she would agree to lose her limbs. And you know, the friend was so frantic with worry, and she reported this to the mother, and the mother of the girl and also the girl, you know, they were like, what's your problem? We are having, this person has promised to give us everything we need until this time comes, so we have no problem with that. Why should you? And this level of ignorance is so scary, because poverty is very bad. But besides blaming poverty, I think another thing that I can blame is ignorance. There are issues that are not discussed socially so much, and like in this era when there's a lot of foreign interaction between foreigners and locals, and there's a lot of scamming happening in the world, the concentration of topics is on different social issues and is not touching upon this. I know, for example, I've been watching certain people, a certain category of persons on YouTube, and I was very surprised that when they while they were going about their business, the issue of queer persons came up in whatever topic they were discussing, and the view that all of them collectively had towards LGBTQ persons was very surprising, and I was very surprised by the level of ignorance of people, confusing queer persons, LGBTQ persons, to be pedophiles, to be what? To be influencers of immorality, to be almost like devil worshippers. And you know, I keenly looked at this, and I stayed off making in-depth explanations to them to clarify them on this. At one point there was an intersex person that was involved in their conversations, but the way their approach to this intersex person was very surprising, you know. And they put all these rhetorics about the person, and that gave me a hint to the fact that a lot of people may be traveled, a lot of people may be very learned, but there's a very big ignorance of persons which is influenced by bias and rhetoric about LGBTQ persons. And so there was this general assumption that these are devil worshippers, these are persons that are guiding others into immorality, these are persons with no good intention, these are persons who are out to influence and have been influenced and are operating, so to say, are like it's a cult, like these are people influenced into it and now leading to, what's that normal terminology, to recruit others. And I find it very painful. This is a topic very dear to my heart, and I'm very surprised by the level of ignorance of a lot of people. And all I can say is that it would do you very well to read and to educate yourself a lot about what it is to be a queer person, because it does. Pedophiles are not queer persons. If anything, pedophiles, child abusers, a lot of people who are perpetrating a lot of wrong in society are straight people. And the issue of queer persons being portrayed as evil, as bad influence, as negative persons as persons of ill intent is a deliberate social drive to target a group of persons. This is a sort of segregation, deliberate segregation that has religious footing in it, first of all, and very surprising to say, the same religious leaders that are at the forefront of castigating queerness, a lot of them are involved in the same aspects of evil and immorality and vices that they accuse the queer persons of being. But queerness in itself is not the evil that it is pretended to be. And there are a lot of queer persons, there are a lot of intersex persons in the world who are suffering just simply because of the misconceptions and the assumed myths and rhetoric about them. But if you're to use the scale of immorality, then it would be misguided. It would be, of course, I can say very confidently that it will be born out of your personal perspectives based on religious affiliation, based on religious assumptions, based on myths, social myths. And all I'd ask is, have you met a queer person? And what do you think about that queer person? And what wrong can you say that you have personally witnessed them doing? And what level of immorality can you base upon them? Because it's one thing to talk about queer persons, it's another thing to meet one. It's one thing to talk about what you think you know based on what you've been told, vis-a-vis having personally seen it happening. And this issue of people talking about people being influenced into queerness, there's nothing like that. A lot of people are not aware that there's a lot of queer persons are born just that way, queer. And that is why it is very common to witness this in children, where a child of a specific gender behaves differently from the sex that is indicated on their birth certificate. And this will be discussed as a matter of joking, as a matter of laughing, as a child gets on to toddler, to be a toddler and to be a young child. And then later on, as it starts getting corrected and the person gets into puberty, then the force changes. And at this point, families get into tough measures to ensure that the person conforms to their gender and behaves like the sex assigned at birth, which is very wrong. And at this point is where you can say that with intersex persons, it's so different, it's so difficult, it's so hard, even for parents. But some of these things, if you want to find out how, sometimes people say it's a Western influence. It's not a Western influence. If you look into almost every African culture and even civilizations all over the world, you'll find that queer persons existed. They had their honorable positions in society. They were recognized as such. In many African traditions, queer persons were deemed as social leaders or special within the society. And even to the point of creating families, they had special places that were assigned to them within just society, and also when they needed and they had to have families, then different cultures had different honorary positions and titles for them. It's good to educate yourself about issues, and it's good to discuss the issues positively and try to find out people who have a different opinion of this. Why do they have this, and what factual information is there about any topic that you come across? I just thought to talk about this. I'm still at home. I'm looking forward to starting on some personal training to learn a new skill but everything is just fine. It's been raining today. The weather was dull the whole day. There was a bit of sun shining, but the weather was dull. But it has rained in the morning, which is not unusual. Yesterday it drizzled just a bit in the night, and I've not done anything. I've just been sitting at home and resting and eating, and I've been eating a lot. Yes, and I'm going through some thoughts in my mind. I have some things I'm figuring out, some things that some issues that I'm dealing with, and sometimes you just need some alone time. And I can say it has helped, but you can think only so much and then act so much and then get back to business. So I thought to come here and tell you that. So wherever you are, before you think of judging people, before you think of making assumptions about other people, before you think of following the rhetoric that is given by the public, that is given by so many, and in spite of your religious knowledge, so to speak, just bother to find out a little bit more why there is a bias towards any type of people, any type of persons, and then follow through with that, and let yourself not judge without first knowing the full story and knowing the truth behind that matter of it all. I wish you all a very nice evening or night wherever you are, or good day wherever you are. For watching me, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for staying, and I pray that you may be healthy. God bless you and guide you and protect you and meet you at your point of need. And so from Ruai in Nairobi of magical Kenya, it's bye bye.